know. She was in here just a moment ago. Oh, there she is. Shuffle, shuffle. Just wanted to make it look like we're entertained because, you know, the camera could be on us at any moment.
Remember, the camera could be on at any moment.
Yeah, they don't want to.
Here we go.
We don't want to show us our scowling
Here
face.
comes the sun.
And don't read the lyrics too
2,
much.
3, 4. Here comes the sun. All you need is
Second
love.
one.
All set? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Asheville. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And welcome to all you YouTubers out there. We are so pleased to have you with us as well. This is a great day. My name is Chaplain Judith Loniak, and I am one of your licensed practitioners, and I'm also on your board of trustees. We've got quite a few announcements today, so let's get into it. First of all, I want to thank you and for sharing how amazing this center is. And please silence your cell phones. Please silence your cell phones. Those of you at home don't need to do that unless you want to. So now we have Blue Ridge Pride. It's that time of year. Saturday, September 30th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We are welcoming volunteers. You can sign up at the event table or contact R.J. Taylor, who happens to be out there at the table. And if you have any questions, want to volunteer, or whatever. Okay. So now we have some very exciting news. Look what time it is, folks. Next week, Reverend Dr. Susie Shadle will be here Sunday, October 1st, to start her tenure as our new senior minister. And also on that day, it's the first Sunday of the month, and we're back to our covered dish luncheon. It's going to be a chili feed. So get your hunger on, folks. Get your hunger on. Next Sunday, October 1st, please bring your favorite dish to share and join us. And then next Sunday also, we have the Serenity Sound Bath with Kristen Halegas. Sunday, October 1st at 1 p.m. in the Kids Club space. That's up the stairs where the offices are. Go through there. No, I don't know if we go through there or not. Go into the education building. You can go up through there or up the stairs there. Thank you, Margot. For the love of food. So the kitchen circle is really ramping up here. So if you'd like to join them because you love food and community and you are excited about potlucks, and give them a hand, there are joyous opportunities to join our kitchen circle. Please see Reverend Sylvia Carnes in order to get that done. So there are so many inspiring things happening. To see more events and info, please go to cslasheville.org, and you can see all the events there. So I want to do a special shout out today because we have had the absolute joy of having these beautiful flowers every Sunday now. David Mark Primo, our master gardener, would you stand up and take a bow? Thank you, David Mark. He is so generous with his gifts, and he's also on the board of trustees, and I want to thank him personally for putting these beautiful flowers on our stage. So I want to thank all the hearts and hands that makes this day and this place special. So now we're going to do our September affirmation. So let's say it together. Love is apparent in all I do and all I am. Love is who I am. And with that, we light the light.
last moment in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
And I know there is only one power, one life, one mind, one love. This one is called by many names: Spirit, God, Jehovah, Allah, the Absolute. But no matter what name we give it, it is the source of all that is. I know for everyone who hears my voice that they are the very essence that Spirit is. We are the divine expressing as us. We are healthy in body, mind, and spirit. Every cell, every nerve, every muscle, every organ and system in our bodies functions as nature intended. We live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. Ernest Holmes said, "The fish in the ocean lay so many eggs that if they all hatched, the waters would all overflow the lowlands." We have more than enough money to do the things that we want to do. I know that our relationships are based on love of self first. And then this love flows out to create sweet, harmonious relationships with others. We are the light bearers, and every act of kindness and love uplifts the consciousness of the planet. I am grateful for our amazing health, for our prosperity and loving relationships. I'm grateful for every person here and online. I release my word, which has power, into the living, loving law, knowing it can only say yes. And together we say, and so it is.
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Doesn't work without this. Let's all take a deep breath. Today's reading is by Marianne Williamson from her book, A Return to Love. Love is what we were born with. Fear is what we have learned here. The spiritual journey is the relinquishment or the unlearning of fear and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. Love is the essential existential fact. It is our ultimate reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to experience love in ourselves and others, is the meaning of life. Love is to people what water is to plants. Love is to people what water is to plants.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. Gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. As I turn up my collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids on the street without enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending I cannot see their need? The summer's disregard, a broken bottle top, and one man's soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could be any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Na 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 na. I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. This time I realize there are some with no home, without a tick to know. Who am I really be pretending that they're not alone? This willow deeply scarred somebody's broken heart and a washed out dream. They follow the pattern of the wind, you see, 'cause they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could be any clearer. If you place. Take a look at yourself and make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could be any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh yeah. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could be any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. You gotta make it right while you got the time. When you do it hard, you close your mind. I'm starting in the man in the mirror. Oh yeah. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could be any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Na 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 na. Ooh, na 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 na. Make a change.
Hello again. I have the great pleasure of introducing our speaker today. He is a man that is dear, dear to my heart. His name is Reverend Chaplain Jim Rigsbee, and he is an associate minister here at this center. And I want to give you a little introduction about him and tell you a little bit about him. Reverend Jim is a North Carolina native. He is a father of 2 boys and a grandfather of 3 girls who all reside in San Diego, California. Jim is a graduate of Holmes Institute and the CSL School for Spiritual Leadership and was licensed as a minister in 2022. Jim completed his chaplaincy studies and residency in Raleigh in 2022. Jim has since served as a chaplain in healthcare settings and as a volunteer for the American Red Cross. As a staff minister here at CSL Asheville, Jim supports our pastoral care program, practitioner corps, and facilitates spiritual education for our community and beyond. Jim has studied and practiced the science of mind philosophy since the mid-1990s. The highlight of his ministerial career is bringing these principles to the care of those in need as a chaplain and minister. Jim is excited about his upcoming expedition to Antarctica in December, where he will meet some penguins and see lots of snow and ice. So I want you to give a warm, warm welcome to my friend, my dear friend, Reverend Chaplain Jim Rigsbee.
Thank you. I feel the love in the room. First, I want to share some good news with you. You ready? Yes. Sometimes it seems like a secret, but I want you to know that love wins. Love always wins. So that's my talk. I'm done. We unfortunately live in a world that makes us doubt this sometimes. We kind of go in with a good attitude, we have love in our hearts, and we don't see the results sometimes. It can seem that it's impossible to melt the hate that we encounter in the world at times. With the really tough issues, it can seem that change comes at a glacial pace. But you do make a difference. It may not be for us to see in our lifetime, but love marches on doing its thing, doing its work. So have faith that you are making a difference with your love. Now imagine placing a large, sharply shaped rock in a river. And imagine that the water rushing over that rock is love. We know that over time the water smooths the edges of that rock and makes it smooth and beautiful. And so we know that without fail, the water will wear down the edges of the sharp rock and create a smooth surface. The smooth surface is easier to navigate because the sharpness is gone. Now, this change doesn't occur overnight, as we know. It moves slowly for sure, but it is making a difference. Even in that trickle of water, it's making a difference. So this is the way of love. Love can soften any situation. You might say, that's not good enough. It's not good enough. I want it to move faster. So I'm going to explore with you today some ways that we might make that transition of love faster. So what are the successful campaigns to confront hate and bigotry and inequalities and all those things that hurt us so deeply as individuals and as a society? What kinds of things can we do? First, we can have confidence that love really does make a difference. Then we can understand that hate often comes from fear. Then we can recognize and heal the fear within ourselves. We can have compassion for those that express hate. And we can realize that conflict is not always a bad thing. Let's take a deeper dive. So how can we boost our confidence in love as the answer? Open your eyes and your heart to discover the ways in which love is winning in the world. What ways is love winning in the world? Let's turn our focus to that. Let's look really hard for those examples. How is love marching forward and vanquishing fear? As a human society, how many attitudes transform for the positive and are creating more joy in our lives? How is that happening? We must look for examples of good, as well as to confront the pain still present in the world. Looking for good in the world builds the confidence within us that love does heal. Love is the answer if we look for it. Ernest Holmes says, if we look at love long enough, we shall become lovely. For this is the way of love. God is love. If we gaze longingly at joy, it will make its home in us, and we shall enter its portals and be happy. Where have you seen seeds of love sprouting in your life? Think about that. Where have you seen seeds sprouting in your life? You ever look at those seeds that we throw on the side in fear and doubt? Ever see seed that's been thrown over in a rocky path? That one blade of grass that shows up. That miracle that shows up. I'd like you to turn within with me for a moment. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, whatever makes you feel comfortable to go within. And allow yourself to melt sweetly into that inner space of love and light. Now imagine a green emerald light that glows from your heart space. See it pulsing. See its brilliance. See its beauty. Now let this light grow bigger and bigger. Bigger and bigger. Now, imagine everyone in this room is doing the same thing. Let your green emerald light touch each other's and grow to fill this room. Push this light out into the world, into all corners of this city, this country, this continent, this planet, the universe, and beyond. Feel that. Now, allow yourself to gently come back into your body and be fully conscious with the here and now. Now, what would it be like if everybody did this? What a world that would be. Well, right now, there are people doing this all over the world through prayer, through good intentions, through acts of random kindness, It's happening more than we might imagine. Have confidence that love grows even in the darkest places. I encourage you to get curious and find stories out there of everyday heroes loving the world and sharing their light. That's the first way we can do this. Understanding that sometimes hate comes from fear, and we often think of hate as the opposite of love. When I speak of hate today, I'm not meaning this intense, powerful kind of thing. Sometimes it can be subtle. Sometimes it's just an opposing opinion on the other side, so to speak. Sometimes it's just a kind of a dislike. But I'm using the word hate as a placeholder today. And Marianne Williamson says, love is what we were born with. Fear is what we have learned here. The spiritual journey is the relinquishment or unlearning of fear and the acceptance of love back in our hearts. So we were born with love. We were born with love in our hearts. That divine love was implanted in our soul, our mind, and our hearts. It is the conditioning of our human experience that introduces fear into our lives. Our minds are always judging, looking for contrasts and differences in the world. That's just the way it works. When we encounter something different than our experience, it's natural to approach it with some fear and anxiety, isn't it? Yeah, it's normal. If we're not nurtured to move through this fear and return to love, we develop even more fear and anxiety and label the other as bad out of a sense of self-preservation. This process happens with everyone. It is our human nature to judge and separate. But we can overcome our nature. We can do better. We can open ourselves up to greater possibilities of diversity. We can shine the torch of wisdom on the fears of the world. And most importantly, we can build bridges. Bridges between our differences and meet in the middle. Rumi says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Now, it's time to turn within. It's time to turn within and to accept that if we want to accept more and more love into our lives, we must find and cancel out those fears within ourselves. Leading from fear can often produce hate. And it's often easy for me, I know for me, to see it in others than to see it in myself. But we must look inside and find those fears and those hates within ourselves. We must be honest with ourselves and find places where we hate out of fear and prejudice or bias. It is through the work within ourselves that we rediscover the love and vanquish the love and hate. Vanquish the fear and hate. Creating the presence within ourselves is the secret to powerful healing presence in the world. Rumi has some strong advice for us. You do not see clearly the evil in yourself, else you would hate yourself with all your soul. Like the lion who sprang at his image in the water, you are only hurting yourself, O foolish man. When you reach the bottom of the well of your own nature, then you will know that the vileness was from yourself. That's really harsh. It's really harsh. But is it true sometimes? Sometimes it's us that's the problem. Maybe it's the way we're thinking, the way we're behaving that's the problem. But practice forgiveness in yourself. Cut yourself some slack, but do the work. It's best to look within for our conflicts before we look outside. We might be the very problem that we seek to vanquish. So, as we look inside, as we approach a problem, what we deem as a problem, we can go inside, We can go in prayer. We can go in meditation. And often that will yield the result. We don't even have to confront the other. Now, how do we have compassion for those that we think express hate or a different opinion than ourselves or something like that? That's tough, isn't it? That's where the really, really, really tough work is. Let's explore that a little more deeply. I posit to you, is it possible that most of us are doing the best we can given how our lives were shaped to this point in our lives? Is that possible? Is it possible that we're doing the best that we can given how our lives were shaped up to this moment? We're also subject to human race consciousness, as Ernest Holmes coined it. This is the prevailing beliefs and experiences of the human race over time. What has always happened or what is believed by the many shape our thinking, even from birth. Even from birth, we know things and experience things and have ideas about things before we ever walk, before we ever speak. Perhaps we were raised by people doing the best they knew how to do given their upbringing. Perhaps that's gone on in our lives. Now, this is not to excuse bad behavior, abusive behavior, or outright injury. We don't excuse that. We also develop natural likes and dislikes, and we carry those around with us. Our exposure to other cultures, opinions, and lifestyles may have been limited as we grew up, and so we may not see the larger picture of diversity. Also, unfortunately, some of us have been honed by other people's bad behaviors, such as bullies and abusers. But let's talk about compassion. Compassion comes from cutting people a break, accepting them as they are. Compassion does not mean accepting bad behavior or being abused by someone. Let me be very clear about this. But when we can stand back and appreciate their suffering, the suffering they must be going through, and see life a little bit from behind their eyes, we might be able to love them a little more, care for them a little deeper, and maybe forgive their less than behaviors. Now, sometimes I had a difficult relationship with my father sometimes as I was growing up. He could be somewhat verbally abusive. He was not physically abusive at all. He's a very loving father. But sometimes his mouth could be a little sharp. And he would say things and be frustrated at times, and I wouldn't understand why he was frustrated. And of course, I was a stubborn kid, and I would talk back to him, and I would say, "No, Dad, you're wrong about that." No, that would make him mad. That would really make him mad. And so we were always seemingly, especially as I was a teenager, locked in conflict. And so, as we do, I moved away from home when it was time to move away and go to college and get married and have kids and all that wonderful stuff that we do sometimes. And so I had a relationship with my father, but it wasn't deep and strong. And that's what I wanted. As I became as I got in my 30s and 40s, I wanted and desired that loving relationship with my father that went much deeper. And so I did some work. I did some work to look at his life, to look at how he was brought up. And I discovered that he lived in a family that didn't express love very well, and that he didn't receive expressions of love very often. He was often ignored as one of, I can't remember how many kids, maybe 10 kids. And the family had a shady past, some criminal behaviors going on. The G-men went after my grandfather and grandmother because they were distributing alcohol back during Prohibition. So, little family secret there. Sorry, Mom. After learning all of this about how his life was shaped, I cut him some slack. And you know what happened? We loved more deeply. I was able to love him more deeply because I was able to let go. I was able to let go of the idea that I had of this man and see him for who he was, this loving man. And our relationship flourished, especially the last week of his life. So my message to you is to get closer, because it's hard to hate from close up. Get to know what makes people tick. Get curious. Practice empathy. Practice compassion. And get curious about what maybe motivates their hatred of what we deem as hatred. Finally, conflict is not a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing. Our judging minds often define those that think differently from us as being in conflict with us. But nothing is outside of God. It's all God. Nothing opposes God. It is a circle of life and all belong to it. We are all unified in the field of God energy. So remember that. We must spiritually grow up to this truth, that it all belongs within God and that we are all one. Yes, there are differences between us. This is diversity in action. Okay, I'm speaking to myself here. Don't be afraid to look at the other side once in a while. What is life like for them? What motivates them to believe what they believe? Because I personally do not believe that life is full of inherent bad people in the world. I think sometimes it's full of bad behaviors. But I don't think the people themselves are bad. And having a different opinion than yours does not make them a bad person. What motivates them to have their opinion? Get underneath that. Go beyond the words and feelings at the surface. What is really going on here? Where is the fear, perhaps, or the seeds of doubt that they have? If we can eke by and let our differences coexist and challenge ourselves to be in a space of love, we might see the bigger picture at play here. I'm often curious what God sees from its vantage point. What might not be being seen in this moment, or what is really being worked out here? So remember that good things do come out of conflict. Trust that. Have faith in that. But it takes love to work through the differences. And most of all, it takes compassion. So I challenge you to love out loud. Be proud of the loving soul that you are. Let loose your joy. Let go of your unfounded fears. And be good to yourself and each other. Know that if you do not see apparent change, the change is happening within you. And isn't that what matters? How we feel? Love does this. Love heals us. Be curious. Practice empathy. Practice compassion. Be confident that love does make a difference. Remember that hate is often bred from fear. What do you fear? Heal that. Look for the bigger picture. What might be working itself out here? What might God see here? So I wish you much joy as you and I discover together more deeply that love wins all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Jim. It's always good to have somebody of our staff speak with us. It's absolutely wonderful. And welcome. So, do we have anybody here for the first time? Yay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people here. Whoa, this is amazing. Fantastic. Ann has got a little card that she'll give you, and if you would, feel free and fill it out, put your email address, and we'll be glad to send you a weekly email that just lets you know what's going on here. Sylvia, whoa, hi. Excuse me. Well, our practitioner emeritus that used to be here and has moved to Alabama, I think, and she is back joining us today. Welcome. So good. Not that you're new, but You're new because you're right here, first time in a while. So it's so good to see you. Wonderful. That's absolutely amazing. So I can call our prosperity acceptors forward, please. So take out what you're going to give. If you're prepared to give, awesome. I know there are many of you that are monthly tithers and givers and give online, etc. And for those of you out there in our online audience way off in the hinterlands, welcome. And we urge you to push that donate now button to help support this center. So I know that as you come through, feel free to put a blessing on the basket because your heart and your love goes forward in these baskets to help us be what we have come here to be. So if you would now, please, let's repeat our investment affirmation aloud together. I affirm that all CSL Asheville's accounts, now and continually, are filled with an all-sufficiency of visible funds to meet all its needs, wants, desires, and commitments with a divine surplus to share and to spare. And so it is.
1, 2, 3, 4. Blessings are flowing, the gift is unsealed, life is unfolding, love is revealed, with open hearts and open hands, I give and receive in love. Blessings are flowing, the gift is unsealed, life is unfolding, love is revealed, with open hearts and open hands, I give and receive in love. Blessings are flowing, the gift is unsealed, and life is unfolding, love is revealed, open hearts and open hands, I give and receive in love. I give and receive in love. I give and receive in love. I give and receive in love.
So I receive these baskets and glove. I know that they are given from your heart. They are given from a place from within, and that is the most precious place of yours. So I know that all these gifts go to make this place and this center a place that it was always meant to be, a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom, all who call it home. And so it is.
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the empire of the senses, you're the queen of all you survey. All the cities, all the nations, everything that falls your way, I say. There is a deeper world than this that you don't understand. There is a deeper world than this, tugging at your hand. Every ripple of the ocean, every leaf on every tree, every sand dune in the desert, every power we never see, I say. There is a deeper wave than this, swelling in the world. Listen to me, girl. Feel it rising in the cities. Feel it sweeping over the land, over borders, over frontiers. Nothing will its power withstand. There is no deeper wave than this, rising in the world. There is no deeper wave than this. Listen to me, girl. All the bloodshed, all the anger, all the weapons, all the greed, all the armies, all the missiles, all the symbols of our fear, I say.
There is no deeper wave than this, rising in the world.
Yeah.
There is no deeper wave than this.
Listen to me, girl. At the still point of destruction, at the center of the fury, all the angels singing with us, all around us, can't you see? There is a deeper wave than this, rising in the land. There is a deeper wave than this, nothing will withstand. I say love is the seventh wave, I say. Love is the seventh wave, I say love. Love is the seventh wave, I say. Love is the seventh wave.
Thank you, David. We are so grateful and so blessed to have so many that contribute to this center. From those in our media booth that rotate, and they're the silent people back there, but they reach the world for us, so we're grateful for them. One voice, yes. Our music, thank you so much. So, kind of a special time for me. First, I'm Tim Wagner, President of your Board of Trustees, and it is indeed my honor to have a presentation for you this morning. A little background, and then I'll call our practitioners forward. A while back, I was on Facebook. Who isn't on Facebook every now and then? And bingo, here comes this thing from Reverend Dr. Bob Lukert. Reverend Dr. Bob is the voice of Murphy. If you get the Science of Mind magazine, you get the Murphy's Dogma. He is the voice. It's his gift that comes through Murphy. Murphy's gift comes through him. But he's also a gifted artist, and he does a lot of creative work. And all of a sudden on Facebook is a tribute to Barbara Waterhouse. I reached out to him and I said, we would like to buy one of these and have this in our center. And Reverend Bob said, no way, I will give you one. And he sent it. And today I would like to present it from Reverend Dr. Bob Lukert. Practitioners and ministers forward, please. So I honor Barbara, I honor Reverend Dr. Bob for his gift to this center. It will be hanging in a very special place, for our hearts are always with Barbara. So with that, I am grateful. Practitioners, if you would come forward here to offer your practitioner services and your love to those that want to receive a treatment. So thank you for that, and we'll repeat our investment affirmation aloud together. Not our investment. We have our benediction. I forget about that now. It's time for us to open up, release, and let love be. Something is wonderful happening right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my affairs. I accept it. I am it. I share it. Just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. love is all around me. Let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love will heal us all.
Let me know that love will heal us all.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love, let me